Okay, formation of the covalent bond, how the covalent bond is formed. So covalent bond is by sharing of electron. When the two atoms share electron, they will have covalent bond. Example, if I say draw a bond between Cl2. So Cl2, how you can identify? Basically, Cl2 means it contains two chlorine atoms. So this chlorine is a non-metal, and this chlorine, the other chlorine, is also a non-metal. So if the two non-metals are there, what kind of bond they will have? They will have covalent bond. How to draw this? First thing, the steps to draw a covalent structure, you will identify the group number. Number one, you will identify the group number. Each element in the compound. Then you will identify number of electrons shared and unshared, and then we will identify, then we'll draw the shared first. And the last, draw the remaining unshared. I will explain this, like if a question is draw a structure of a covalent, or draw a structure to show a covalent bond in Cl2 or chlorine. So how you will draw? First thing, you have to make this table. In exam, it's not necessary you make this table first because you are learning it. So that's why I prefer that you draw this table. Once you will have memorized, like you will have an understanding, you don't have to draw this table. But initially, you have to draw so that you will not make a mistake. The element, group number, shared and unshared. So here we have element. Which element is there, or atom? Group number, its group number. How many it will share and how many will be unshared. So first step is identify group of each, because it's Cl2 means the element which are present is chlorine and chlorine, because Cl2 means two chlorine are there. And it belongs to which group chlorine belongs to? Chlorine belongs to group 7. So it belongs to group 7. How many electrons will be there in the last shell? The group number means the number of electron in the last shell. So both belongs to group 7. Out of 7, to complete octet, how many it will share? 1, and how many unshared will be there? 6. How many it will share? 1, and how many unshared will be there? 6. Is it clear, this table? Is it clear, the table? Chlorine belongs to group 7. It needs 1 electron. So out of 7, it will share 1 and unshared will be 6. And already we discussed, if it's a group 7, it will share 1 and unshared will be 6. Now to draw the structure, chlorine, so 2 chlorine you will draw. This is 1 and this is the other one. First, we will draw the shared electron between the atoms. So shared electron between the atoms. So how many each? This chlorine is sharing 1. So if this chlorine is sharing 1, This chlorine is also sharing 1. So these are the shared electron. The shared electron you will draw between the atoms, and draw the unshared electrons on the atoms. So how many unshared are there? 6 unshared are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And why I use the same structure? Because it's a chlorine. Chlorine atoms are there, identical atoms. That's why I use the same symbol for electrons for each. I can use different symbol. It's acceptable. But reason why I use the same symbol, because it's having like the identical atoms are there. So I'll repeat what I did. First, I will draw this table to identify the atoms. Group 7, chlorine belongs to group 7 because Cl2, that's why 2 chlorine atoms. Yeah, drawing the circle is the last part here. I will explain how it's optional. It's not necessary, but it's better you draw the circle to show an orbit. I was coming to that point only. If you have 2 chlorine, so you drew 2 chlorine. Shared one, first you will draw the shared one between the atoms. So 1, this one is for 1 chlorine, this is the second. And then unshared on the atom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then draw a circle for each atom so that it will have 8 electrons. So this is a circle for one and this is a circle for the other. So this is a covalent structure of chlorine molecule. And each electron pair is represented by a single line. So I can also show Cl single line with another Cl because each line represents 2 electrons. So there is one bond between them. That's why I do a single bond between them. Is it clear, this example? Any doubt in this? Take the screenshot, then I will give another example. This is when identical atoms are there. Now, if I want to draw the structure of oxygen, which is O2, so again, we'll make this table. Atom or element, the group number, the shared and unshared. Atom or element, group, shared, unshared. So it can, O2 means 2 oxygen, so 2 oxygen are there. Which group it belongs to? Oxygen belongs to group 6. How many it will share out of 6? It will share 2. How many unshared will be there? 4. This is the table we completed. Now how to draw the structure? O2 means 2 oxygen. So first I will draw 2 oxygen. Shared one we draw between the atom. So each oxygen is sharing 2. So this oxygen share 2. The other oxygen will also share 2. So shared one we will draw between the atoms. And unshared we draw on the atom. How many unshared are there? 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing for this one. Unshared are 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now draw the circle. Each circle should have 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be one circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be another. So this is the covalent structure of oxygen molecule, in which there are 4 electrons between the 2 oxygen atoms, and each pair represented by a single line. So we can say O, because there are 4, so there will be 2 lines, because each line is representing 2 electrons. So O double bonded with O. This is called double covalent bond. Is it clear? Take the screenshot. I will explain give another example.
Sir,
Yes.
why
Yeah.
is the shared 2 and the unshared 4?
Yeah, unshared 4. So the unshared, look, there are 6 electrons in the outermost shell. If there are 6 electrons, to complete the octet, it should share 2. So out of 6, it shared 2. If out of 6, it shared 2. Unshared, the one which is left does not share 4. So first I will draw the number of the atoms, because O2 means 2 oxygen. So I drew 2 oxygen. First thing. Then each oxygen will share 2. So one oxygen, this oxygen gives 2 electrons. The other oxygen will also give 2 electrons. So between them, there are 4 electrons. Why there are 4 electrons? 2 because of one oxygen and 2 because of the other oxygen. And unshared are 4, the one which are not involved in a sharing. So they are on the oxygen molecule. Is it clear?
Yes.
So 4 unshared and 2 are, this is called, there are 4 between them, means 4 electrons between them, but each oxygen, each oxygen is sharing 2, so total 4 will be there between them. But if 2 different atoms are there, and we have to show a covalent structure, like if I say carbon dioxide, CO2. So if you have to draw the structure of CO2, first thing you have to draw, make this table. Atoms, group, shared and unshared. So atoms which are present here, we have carbon, we have oxygen, we have oxygen. Why? Because O2 is there, that's why twice. Carbon belongs to group 4, oxygen belongs to group 6. Carbon, it will share 4 and unshared will be 0. Oxygen belongs to group 6, so it will share 2 and unshared will be 4. Other oxygen also belongs to group 6, so share 2 and unshared will be 4. This is the table which we complete. Now we have one carbon and two oxygen. How we will know which one we should draw in the center? So the atom which share the maximum number of electron should be at the center. So the atom which share the maximum number of electrons should be at the center. So which atom should be at the center, carbon or oxygen? The one which share the maximum number should be at the center.
Oxygen.
Share, carbon, because when you check the share number, so carbon is sharing 4, oxygen is sharing 2. So which share the maximum number? Carbon is sharing the maximum number, so the one which share the maximum number should be at the center. So there will be carbon, one side one oxygen, the other side another oxygen. Is it clear? The first thing, if different atoms are there, first you will draw this table, and the atom which share the maximum number should be at the center. Then sharing start from least number, the smaller number. What does it mean? Sharing start from least number means the one which share the least number or smallest number will draw that first. Means we'll draw the electron for that atom first. So example, sharing start from the least number, oxygen is sharing the least number. So if this oxygen share 2, the other atom, look, carbon maximum can share 4, but this side carbon cannot bring 4 electron, because if oxygen is sharing 4, the carbon will, if oxygen is sharing 2, the carbon will also share 2 from that side. So what happened, like in this, first we draw the one which share the maximum number, and at the center, the atom which share the maximum number of electrons should be at the center. Then sharing start from the least number. So which is the least number? Oxygen is the least number, share 2 electron. So if this oxygen share 2, so if oxygen share 2, how many electron carbon will share from that side? The carbon will share only 2 from that side. Total carbon will share 4, but in this example 2 from this side. Same thing, oxygen share 2, the other oxygen. So if other oxygen share 2, how many carbon can share from that side? The carbon can share 2 from the other side. So what is the total number of electrons shared by oxygen? 2. And what is the total number of electrons shared by carbon? 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it clear? Because oxygen share 2, carbon will share 2 from left side. Oxygen share 2 from right side, so carbon will share remaining 2 from right side. So carbon shared all its 4 and oxygen shared 2 electron. Then draw the unshared electron. The unshared electron for oxygen, there are 4. And unshared electron for carbon is 0, so we don't have to draw any unshared. Now draw the circles to show each circle should have 8 electron. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 of. Then I draw for this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for carbon, when I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 electrons are there for each. And each electron pair represented by a line. So there are 2 pairs, so there will be 2 lines. So this is the covalent structure of carbon dioxide, in which each oxygen share 2, each carbon share 4. But from one side, carbon is sharing 2 electrons. Is it clear, this example of carbon dioxide? So if different atoms are there, then share the maximum number of electrons. The atom which share the maximum number of electrons should be in the center. I'll give another example. Take the screenshot. I'll give another example of covalent structure. Take the screenshot. Example, you want to draw a structure of COCl2. So if you want to draw the structure of COCl2, first thing is you have to make a table in which you include atoms, group, shared, unshared. There are 4 atoms, so I should have 4 rows for each atom. Atom, group, that's a group number. Atom is there, the group number is there, and then the shared one and unshared. What are the atoms? Carbon is there, oxygen is there, chlorine and chlorine. Why twice? Because it's Cl2. Carbon belongs to group 4, oxygen belongs to group 6, chlorine belongs to group 7, chlorine belongs to group 7. How many it will share? 4, unshared 0. 2, unshared will be 4. 1, unshared will be 6. 1, unshared will be 6. Then what we'll draw? We'll draw the atom which share the least number first. The atom which share the maximum number should be at the center, and the atom which share the least number will start sharing from that one. So which one I should draw in the center? I have carbon, oxygen and chlorine. Which one should be the center? The atom which share the maximum number should be at the center. Carbon, oxygen or chlorine, which share the maximum number?
Carbon.
Chlorine share 1. Carbon share 4. So which share the maximum number? Carbon share the maximum number. That's why carbon should be at the center. The one which shared the maximum number in the center. So carbon will be there. Then one side, anywhere you can make. Oxygen is there one side, then chlorine, and then another chlorine. Is it clear? So the carbon is a central atom and the remaining are surrounding the carbon. Next, we will start sharing with the least number. So start sharing with the least number, which is sharing the least number. You can see here, chlorine is sharing the least number, which is 1. So we'll start with chlorine. So if chlorine share 1, how many carbon can share from that side? It can also share 1 from that side. Same thing, another chlorine shared 1. How many carbon can share from that side? The carbon can share 1 from that side. Then the oxygen share 2. So if oxygen share 2, if oxygen share 2, How many carbon can bring from that side? The carbon can bring 2 from that side. So you can see here the sharing finish. Oxygen shared 2, chlorine shared 1, and carbon shared 4 electron. Then draw the unshared electron. So for oxygen there are 4 unshared electron. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For chlorine there are 6 unshared electron. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it clear? Then you will draw the circles to show that each circle should have 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is one circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is. And it's not necessary. Each circle should not combine. Only the shared one will combine. Like they should. These circles should not combine with each other for individual atoms. When only the shared one will combine. And the carbon is sharing with everyone. So this is the structure of COCl2, in which you can see O, double bond C, and there is Cl on up or Cl on towards right. Is it clear? This structure, covalent structure of COCl2? Yes, Abdul Rahman.
Sir, why did you put this here up?
It's not necessary. I can put it down also, no difference. Even I can put it right, left. But the idea is the carbon should be at the center. I can make it any configuration. I can put oxygen, carbon, chlorine, and chlorine. I can put any configuration. That's not important thing. It's how you draw the central atom and show a sharing and unshared electron. That's important. So drawing first the number of correct shared electron, unshared electron. This is the important thing which will give you marks. Is it clear the concept of a covalent bond?
Yes.
One more example and then I will give questions so that you can draw the structure. CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, if identical atoms are there, it's not necessary I write them every time. Atom, group, shared, unshared. Carbon, chlorine, 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 and there's one more chlorine because 4 chlorine. But you don't, it's not necessary you draw for each, even one time. If the same atom is there, you draw for one time, that's okay, because it's the same thing. Group 4, group 7, group 7, group 7, group 7. It will share 4, it will share 1. This will unshared 0, 6. So which one I should draw in the center, carbon or chlorine?
Carbon.
Carbon, because the carbon share the maximum number. So the carbon should be at the center and chlorine surrounded. So carbon surrounded by chlorines, 4 chloride atom. Then the sharing should start with the least number. Which one I should start with? I should start with chlorine. So if this chlorine share 1, then the carbon can only share 1 from that side. Same thing, if this chlorine shared 1, if this chlorine shared 1, carbon will share 1 from that side. If chlorine shared 1, carbon will share 1, and if another chlorine shared 1, the carbon can share 1 from that side. So sharing for chlorine finished, sharing for carbon also finished. Then draw the unshared electron for each chlorine. There should be 6 unshared electrons. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And draw the circles. And circle for, so this is how the sharing occur. And carbon, each chlorine having a single bond with carbon, so there will be a single line or electron pair between them. So this is the structure of CCl4, carbon tetra chloride. And one more example related to hydrogen. Like if we want to draw the structure of water, H2O. So water contain two hydrogens and one oxygen. So you will draw the structure for, like there is hydrogen and oxygen. The atom is there, the group shared, unshared. For hydrogen, there is a debate like hydrogen, because even though its position, some of the chemists suggest that it should be in group 1 because it is having 1 electron in the outermost shell. But because of its properties, all properties resemble with non-metals. So that's why they believe that it should not be in group 1. But position is in group 1, still it's not confirmed. When you check the periodic table, they just place hydrogen outside group 1 because its property does not resemble with group 1 element, which are all metals. But because 1 electron in the outermost shell, so according to that, it should be in group 1. And oxygen belongs to group 6. So hydrogen share 1 and unshared will be 0. For hydrogen, its exception compared to other elements, this will share 2 and unshared will be 4. So which one I should draw in the center in H2O? Which should be the central atom, oxygen or hydrogen?
Oxygen.
Oxygen should be the central atom because it shared 2. So oxygen is there, then surrounded by 2 hydrogens. Then sharing start with the least number. So hydrogen share 1. If hydrogen share 1, oxygen will share 1. Same thing, if hydrogen share 1, oxygen share 1. You can see oxygen sharing also finished because it can share maximum 2 and 2 are shared. Then draw the unshared of oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the structure of water in which each hydrogen share 1, and circle of hydrogen should have 2 electrons only, and each oxygen share 2, and the total number of electrons will be 8. And H, O, and H. Is it clear? The sharing of electron and the covalent bond which is formed between these compounds. Take a screenshot, then I will give you questions, examples you will solve and send your answers on the group. Draw covalent structure of number 1 F2 fluorine, number 1 is fluorine F2. You will use a periodic table to identify the group number O2 N2 CH4 COBr2 carbon, oxygen and bromine NH3 CBr4 H2O HCl and H2S. These are the 10 questions, 10 structures. You have to draw the covalent structure and send your answers on the group. I will share the picture on the group as well. Any doubt related to today's class? Yeah, this. Okay, I will end the session and check your answers on the group. So send your answers on the group. Send your answers